So you all see the viral video that is going around on social media. A man who worked his ass out here in America, invested his money back home, retired last year, moved back to Nigeria to enjoy his wealth. Got to Nigeria, his brothers put him in a state of zombie, like in a state of dementia, where he cannot even remember anything again. They even starved this man. So his daughter here in America for over 6 months was trying to get in touch with her father, but to no avail. She then flew to Nigeria to know what is going on. Got to her own father's compound. Her uncles refused her entry to her own father's compound. They said to her that she doesn't belong there. So the girl has to involve police, move her own father back to America, put her father in a nursing home. One of the uncle flew to America, went to the nursing home the man was in, locked the door, forced the man to sign some documents. This is really, really scary for people in diaspora. This is really, really scary. Imagine working all your life, working your ass out to help people back home. Time for you to settle. You don't even know how long left for you to live. Boom. Your life become a story. You get to the point now. This is really, really scary. I'm not gonna lie. This is really scary.
What do you do for a living? I am a pastor, but I really sell hope to old people, and they give me money for investments that I spend on myself.
I said I'm never coming back again. Next I stepped away from the mirror. I got my mind made up now, cause I can see the future much clearer. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. The culture we don't talk about. You know, like people like to tell us, Black Americans, we don't have culture. And it's like, oh, we're dysfunctional and degenerate. And the reason, and I've said this before, y'all act like we don't know what's going on with y'all, all you other groups. I'm just using this one as an example. So y'all think we don't know that y'all used, the people who are here have used, I'm gonna send you back to Africa to their own kids. Like, I'm gonna send them back as a, like, it's a punishment. Like, hey man, you hang up, I'm gonna send you back there. And it's like, oh, okay. But we don't, but that's part of the culture, right? That's part of your culture, right? Telling your kids that, like, it's a bad, like, you sending them to boarding school by sending them back to their home country, their homeland. Crazy. We don't know that. That's what you think. On the flip side, y'all act like we don't know that some of you cats that's raised here, when you go back to your homeland, you're treated as a foreigner. So you might be, tribal here, or proud of yourself and proud of where you come from when you're here. But when you go back to, where your family's actually from, you're not treated as you belong there. It's not home. It's not actually home like it's supposed to be. But we're not supposed to know that, right? We don't know that's what goes on. Y'all act like we don't know about the culture of sending money back home and it being wasted or being used, scammed out of your money. You of all ages. You got young people that's sending money back home and suffering, and then they go home and they realize the money's been wasted. They're in, quote unquote, the U.S. and in the U.K. sending money back home, whether it be in Africa or the Caribbean, and then realize, I'm giving these people money, they ain't doing nothing with it. But then we get to that, what are you doing? What are you Americans doing? It's like, yo, you're not doing that. We learned that lesson in America. Like, don't give people money who don't use it properly. And you have, scamming dependent family members, right? You don't say nothing. No nice way to say this. We know some of y'all like to go home and kind of pray on your own. Since you're in America, you can go back home and stun on your own people. You don't necessarily, we talk about passport bros in America, but some of these people who are in America but have a homeland in another country, they basically passport bros in their own country, in their own homeland. That's what they doing out here, stunting on their own people. But we're not supposed to know about that because that's we got to say, that's not y'all culture, but we know it is. Same thing, vice versa. Some of y'all get tired of going home because everybody's trying to use you. So you like, I don't. So you get to a point where you don't want to go back. Because I mean, every time I go back, they actually think they trying to get one over on me and scam me, okay, and hustle me out of a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there. You know, we know this to be true, but we don't talk about that. We leave it alone. It's supposed to be, but when y'all say, we don't have a culture and we do this and we do that, it's like, really? Really? This is what we doing? Excuse me. Y'all think we don't know about, the tribalism you have in America? You think, like, y'all think we don't know, like, if you're in America and you're a minority population, you would think that y'all would all stick together, per se. They're all from this country, that country, whether it be a country in Africa or a country in the Caribbean, and you would all think all the Caribbeans would stick together and all the Africans would stick together. Nope. It's still, more so with Africans because Africans have more tribes in general. It's tribes in Africa. Um, we know that y'all come here and y'all have tribal differences in America, which makes no sense. Some of y'all, you can't necessarily settle down with certain people because you find out, one person's Hausa, another person's Yoruba or whatever. It's like, don't even make no sense. You hear, yo, but hey, we're not supposed to say nothing, right? Same thing, with different countries. But we're not supposed to say anything. Like we don't know these things. This is us that's the bad thing. And of course we know about, you know, a lot all these all you other black people who are not black Americans getting around black people as a pass to be degenerate. When a lot of us don't participate in degeneracy, but you find some quote unquote black friends to do wild criminal type stuff with, and then act like, oh, it's the whole culture. No, 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 no. You hide behind your criminality and you put it on us as black people, and then you try to walk off into the sunset and be like, no, 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 I'm this, I'm not them. We already know that happens all the time, all the time. But we're not supposed to, we don't know that's people's culture, right? And then, you know, if the separation about in this country, um, if people who are non FBA have a restaurant or hangout spot or whatever, we know if we was to go in there and just patronize your business, and we know that we see the crazy looks and and the passive aggressive stuff. We see it. That's why we don't patronize them a lot. It's like, okay, oh, we not welcome, cool. But when you come to our stuff, it's not really like that. You just have a good time, but y'all act like we don't notice that. We act, you know, all of this negativity that's lumped to us. You act like we don't see this. Got to talk about it, you know. We do know of your family issues too, okay? In and out of this country. We do know y'all tighten it and y'all try to keep y'all dysfunction in the house, but understand it spills out into the streets. Okay? Just understand that it does. And understand sometimes y'all ask us for help on the low and we help you, and no, it's not a big deal. You know, we've known that where, you know, you might ask a brother to do something and the brother does something, but and it's cool, but if you go back into your house, it's F us. Like, okay, cool. It is what it is. You know, and here's the thing. Just like people are on social media and figuring out the nuances of other people's culture, you're gonna start seeing more of your nuances in your culture that you don't want people to know, be exposed by your own. Because we know a lot of this stuff. You know how we know a lot of this stuff? Because your people here vent. Sometimes y'all they can't talk to their family. Sometimes they can't talk to their friends. Because, you know, everybody wants to act like it's all good. Like he was talking about with the story about the, you know, taking advantage of the guy who worked 25 years. Like, do I think that story is completely true? The zombie thing. I mean, it's possible, yeah, but ah, but have I heard that type of behavior? Yeah. Oh yeah. You see it from famous people to everyday people. Like, wow, like that's what's going on. It's like, yeah, man, it's annoying. It's annoying. You got people, you know, and the crazy part is, even with this situation, I've know people who are, let's just say, African in the U.S. have this problem. I've heard some of these things about Caribbean folks having that problem here and in the UK. You get what I'm saying? And I've heard the same issue um, with Africans leaving Africa and coming back to Africa. You know, like going to UAE or something. So this is a thing, and I say the issue what it is, just from my observation, the elders don't actually control the shenanigans. So if you got people in America or in the UK or in the Middle East working there and sending money back home, the elders aren't making sure their men and women who are from young to old are not getting screwed over by these people. Sending people to school, people are just out here kicking it, you know, taking care of people out here wasting money partying, and people and the same way they say us Black Americans we can go to Africa and get scammed, the Africans get the same thing. They get scammed by their family the same way. They can see it coming, you know, and got an inclination like, oh, they on that bull, but they get scammed the same way. You know, sucks because to protect themselves from the scam, they gotta constantly go back. Let me see for myself. Can't just trust you because it ain't gonna go that way. So, you know, the elders, in my opinion, have dropped the ball because they're not really on people's heads. Like, hey, you bet not. You, they're not sending all this money back home for you to go kicking it. But It's just for me to say, like, we know what's going on in y'all culture too, the good and the bad. You get what I'm saying? So, and the stuff that people don't want people to know. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.